This will be recorded. We will share it on the CCBOE website. And so thanks everybody for taking the opportunity to join us tonight. My name is Chris Miller. I am here as one of the charter school liaisons for Charles County Public Schools. I have my colleague Brooke Colhorst, who is also a charter school liaison. And we are here and excited to introduce Miss Angelica Jackson, the CEO of PISOTA. And she is going to talk to us about the Phoenix International School of the Arts, the lottery. We are in open enrollment season right now. We're very excited for that taking place. And Miss Jackson is going to share that information with you. There are the ability to ask questions in the chat. So what we will do is if we can answer them as Ms. Jackson is presenting, we will do so. If not, there will be time at the end, hopefully, for some questions and answers. And anything we may not have the answer to, we will certainly get it to you. So without any further pause, I'd like to turn it over to Miss Angelica Jackson.
Thank you so much, Christina, Brooke, and the CCPS team. I want to start by thanking you all for joining this evening. Please know that we do have Spanish interpretation tonight for our information session. So if you would like to hear tonight's presentation in Spanish, then you can click the interpretation link or button at the bottom of your computer in the menu section, and we have Miss Maggie providing Spanish interpretation. So thank you. Good evening. Yes, please feel free throughout the evening to pop your comments, questions in the chat. We will likely get to your question. So at the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session. But if there's a question that you have that's just burning inside of you, please feel free to write it in the chat and we will try to get to it as best we can. And let us know where you're joining from. Are you in Waldorf? Are you in White Plains, La Plata, Nanjamoy, Indian Head? Where are you calling in from? We are one of the schools in the county that does service all of Charles County. Okay, I see Waldorf, I see Indian Head, La Plata came in strong, White Plains, Charlotte Hall. That's awesome. I'm so glad that you all are here this evening and interested in learning more about Phoenix International School of the Arts. So again, thank you for joining. I am Angelica Jackson. I am the Chief Executive Officer and the one of our founders for Phoenix International School of the Arts. I am from Charles County. I'm from Waldorf, and went through Charles County Public School System and returned back to the area in 2018 with a hunger to give back to the community that raised me. And with my background, both as a chorus teacher, a theater teacher, and as a professional performing artist, folks in the area knew that I had a desire and passion for the performing arts and for education and for cultivating a love for the arts in young people. And not just a love for the arts, but showing them that they can use their gifts, their creative gifts, to give back to their community. They can use their creative gifts to heal themselves, their communities, their families, and thus began the process to design and build Phoenix International School of the Arts with the community. So pictured here, you see our leadership team, myself in the middle, and then Dr. Bateman, that is to my left. And she is our school principal. She joined us this school year, as well as Mr. Hill. He joined us this school year as our assistant principal. And so we are the school leadership team, and hopefully they will be our special guests this evening. You'll have an opportunity to hear from them, as well as some other special guests that will join the call later this evening. So tonight is an opportunity for you to learn all about Phoenix International School of the Arts. My hope is that you have heard about us in some way outside of our website, but that you've been able to speak with a parent, or guardian or a scholar or one of our community partners, we are deeply embedded in the community. We've been working in the community since 2020, but our school opened its doors in 2023. So we're currently in our third year of operation. And so we've learned a lot, and we're excited to share some of our learnings with you all this evening. We'll talk about our academic and arts program, as well as share a little bit about a day in the life for a scholar at Pasota. We'll talk about the operations of the school, so transportation, food service, those types of things. And then, of course, we'll speak about how to apply to the school, so enrollment information for the school. If you've not submitted your application yet, you certainly can this evening while you are on this Zoom call or right after. It is on our website, and you'll be able to go to pasota.org/apply for that information. But I'll share that in a few slides. So, we are on a mission to inspire and prepare the next generation of global artists, scholars, innovators, leaders, and change makers to again use their creative gifts to make our world a better place. And so, we do that by integrating the fine and performing arts into our academic program throughout the day. Every single day, our scholars, and we call our students our scholars, every day they are engaging in some form of arts education, whether it be using drama and social studies to learn about our history, or they are using music and math class to learn about, core math concepts at each grade level, or they're actually taking a dance class um, during the school day and preparing for performance. They are engaging in some form of creativity, project, art every single day. We are the first approved public charter school and currently the only charter school in Charles County. Again, we were approved in April 2021, and then we opened our doors 2023. And we were designed with the community. So when we started the process to figure out what this school would look like, we actually held what we called dream sessions all throughout the community, whether it was at churches, at HOA meetings, at a local Panera. We were meeting with community to ask, what does the school of your dreams look like? And in those sessions, we learned that emotional safety was extremely important, just as important as physical safety. We learned that the arts are important to families in our community. And we learned that we need a space where it's a smaller school model so that we can be more relationship focused and relationship based. And so, as you'll learn about our school, what we learned in those dream sessions directly influenced the design of our school, our curriculum, and our school's model. Let me go to the next slide. There we go. I like to start with what is a public charter school. And I start here because charters, we're the only one in Charles County. So it can be unfamiliar for those who are not in the education sector. So public charter schools are public schools. They are a public school of choice. That means that we do not have a tuition. There's no admissions test to enroll. Your scholar does not have to have a certain grade point average or GPA. We are part of the Charles County public school system. What differentiates us as a public charter as opposed to your traditional zone public school is that we are operated in partnership with the Charles County public school system and a Maryland-based 501c3 nonprofit organization. And the two entities, Charles County Public Schools and our nonprofit, Phoenix International Incorporated, have come together under a charter agreement, which is like a contract, to say how we will operate and manage this school. And so the day to day management and operations of the school is led by that nonprofit. And then we are authorized or approved and supported by our partners at Charles County Public Schools. Public charter schools in Maryland are very much mission specific. And so, as I shared our mission earlier, we lean into that mission in all aspects of our school. So, from the governance and decision making all the way down to after school activities, they all should be connected to our mission. And we are held highly accountable to the community, from our scholars and our staff members and families, all the way up to, of course, Charles County Public Schools and to the Maryland State Department of Education. If a public charter school is not sufficiently serving the community where it is supposed to serve, then the school can um, be at risk for closure, or the school can be under some scrutiny. So it's extremely important for a public charter school to truly serve the community where it is located. That is extremely important for us. We want to make sure that we're doing right by our scholars and our families. And as such, we are often asking our families and scholars for feedback and our staff for feedback so we can make sure that we are doing well and doing our part. And I shared that we have an authorizer through Charles County Public Schools, the Charles County Board of Education. And these are the areas that they are observing us to ensure that we are doing right by our families and our charter agreement. So they come to the school and they're looking at our instructional programs, they're looking at our student services. So that's like you see here, our social emotional learning, health services, extracurricular programs, multi tiered systems of support. They want to see that we are involved with our families and communities even outside of the school day. They look at our finances, and the decisions we make around our finances, school climate. Is this a place where all of our stakeholders, families, staff, and scholars, where they feel that they belong? They are also observing our governance. So, as a nonprofit, we do have a board of trustees, just as the Charles County Public Schools has a board of education. And so, they are making sure that our governance is making sound strategic decisions for the growth of the school. And then our operational compliance. Are we complying with our charter agreement and the promises that we've made to both the community and to Charles County Public Schools? So this is what our partnership looks like. We have that partnership with Charles County Public Schools to ensure that we are serving our families and scholars and staff well. Now, that is what a public charter school is. I hope that cleared up some information for you. We are not a private school. We are a public school. We're part of Charles County Public Schools, and we are managed day to day through Charles County Public Schools and a partnership with our nonprofit, Phoenix International Incorporated. Now, let's get into our school, our curriculum, and who we are, the heart of Phoenix International School of the Arts. Just quick numbers. We are in our third year and we already have 75 alums. So these are scholars who have matriculated out of Phoenix International School of the Arts after eighth grade and have gone on to high school. And our scholars are attending high school locally and outside of Charles County. So they are at McDonough in their CTE programs for drama, dance, and interactive media and technical theater. We have scholars in North Point High School CTE programs, and of course, for all of the zone high schools. And we have scholars that also matriculate into private schools who, of course, move from the area and go to public schools elsewhere. So we have scholars all over, and they are bringing their Phoenix light with them as they go on to their next phase of their educational journey. You can see we currently have 243 scholars enrolled at the school, but this is the number of students that we've served, over 600 students altogether. We have 35 team members at the school. So these are all of the adults in the building who are supporting your scholars every single day. And then we've partnered with over 20 organizations and small businesses in the county. As a public charter school, we prioritize partnering with community organizations to ensure that we can provide services, both health and human services, as well as opportunities for the arts exposure and experiences to our scholars. And we rely on our community partners and our local small businesses and peer nonprofit organizations to support that effort. Our key pillars, you may already be familiar with this. So, I shared earlier in the presentation that when we were in the beginning stages of opening this school, we held those dream sessions where we asked the community to design the school of their dreams with us. So, out of those dream sessions, these five key design pillars were brought to the top. So families wanted excellence in A3. So excellence in academics, arts instruction. So that's like taking a dance class or a drawing class. And then arts integration, which is integrating different arts disciplines into your core academic classes. Global competence, leadership, and bilingualism or multilingualism. That was extremely important. Our families see that as a differentiator for their children to be able to go out into the workforce knowing more than one language. And we completely agree with that. And so you'll see that our scholars are starting to take a world language in sixth grade. We currently offer Spanish and French. Mental health and holistic wellness is extremely important. I shared with you all that emotional wellness was something that, or emotional security was something that came up often. And with us being a middle school serving grades 6 through 8, we know that that is a time where there is a lot of discovery happening around identity, and that emotional security was extremely important for families. Real world experience and access to experts. So the arts can be an income generating opportunity and work or career option for our scholars. And so families are wanting to ensure that their scholars have the opportunity to engage in the creative economy starting in middle school. And then finally, community uplift, ensuring that our scholars have the opportunity to give back to their communities and also value giving back to their community. And that can start by giving back in our school community. It can start by helping out at home, all of those things. So, those were the five design pillars that rose to importance during those dream sessions, and how we, and those five pillars guide all of the school's decisions and curriculum and programs are all held on top of these key design pillars. Again, if you have questions, put them in the chat. I can't see the chat as I'm doing the presentation, but we will be sure to get to them as we move along here. And fortunately, we have Christina Miller and Brooke Cohorst from Charles County who are helping with answering those questions. So thank you both so much. We spoke to the mission a bit. Our vision is that we have a generation of informed and highly capable youth taking equal stake in the global economy and community, no matter their background, no matter where they live, no matter their family's income, no matter their current circumstances. We believe in youth, all youth, rising above their circumstances and soaring to their greatest potential. We believe that all children have the potential to be the best that they can be. And so we want to support them in that effort. Our core values, which should be our next slide. Oh, wait a minute before I play that. Is it on here? I'm sorry, I have this screens and I can't see. So our core values are RISE, which is the acronym. The R stands for reflect. The I is innovate. The S is serve, and E is excel. So you'll often hear our scholars say we rise, and when they say that, that's what they mean. They are speaking to our core values. So I'm going to share a brief video, and hopefully you all will be able to hear it. I don't know if I am sharing my sound, but hopefully you'll be able to hear it. You can let me know in the chat if you cannot. But you will see a brief video of Michaela Garcia. She's one of our founding scholars and Pasoda alum, just sharing her perspective of being a scholar at Pasoda and when she first found out that she was accepted into Phoenix International School of the Arts. So hopefully you all will be able to hear. I was in sixth grade. Let me turn up my sound. Could you all hear her? I applied for Pasoda and I was at. Let's see. Did you all
Yes,
hear
we
that?
can hear that, Angelica.
Okay. Thank you, Christina. Thank you. Okay. So let me start her over. When I was in sixth grade, I applied for Pasoda and I was at one of my friends' houses. And my mom called me on the phone, super excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, mom, what happened? And she's like, you got into Pasoda. I'm like, wait, really? And I was so happy about it because I found out that there's going to be a school for me that I could actually go to and I can connect with multiple people with. Yeah. So personally, I do vocal art. And I absolutely love it because I can always learn so much and I can always exceed my expectations. When I saw the multiple different art courses you could take, it was a very big deal for me because knowing myself, I was a huge fan of art and music.
So when I found out there's a school that could actually provide the resources for that, I was super excited. I was so stoked about it because then I found a school that can actually support me in what I wanted to do. And I could find my people that I could become great friends with. I can incorporate and give you examples of what maybe musicians do and what all these other huge influencers do around the world according to music and art. And they can put that in what you're learning and use it as examples or even visuals. And it's really been great for me. I found people that love the same interests as me and that love me for who I was. They can be one of my best friends and they can actually support me. Performances that stand out are always the dance performances, drill, singing, all the concerts we have. Everyone was so happy. We met new people, we met new friends. It was so amazing.
Thank you, Michaela. So that is again one of our scholars sharing, our former scholars sharing about her experience finding out that she got into Phoenix International School of the Arts and then what some of her favorite moments are at the school. And we'll talk about some of those after school opportunities. She mentioned drill, she mentioned the showcases, so we'll speak to that in a few. For those who may not be able to stay to the end, I did want to just throw this QR code in here and our website link for the enrollment application. So if you cannot stay to the end, but you need that link to apply, you can do so here. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code, and it will take you to our enrollment application. Or you can type in apply.avella.org/PASOTA, and that will take you directly to our application where you can submit. Submitting the application does not guarantee that you will be accepted into the program, and we'll talk about what our enrollment process looks like, but it does go ahead and get you in so that you can make sure that that application is submitted prior to November 24th when the open enrollment period closes. All right, so academics. So, academics at Pasoda, as you may have seen on our website, we do use the Cambridge International Curriculum. This is an international curriculum provider that is implemented in over 60 countries around the world. They reach over 110 schools. It is the most widely implemented curriculum. It's a curriculum that came out of the University of Cambridge in the UK, and they have a program pathway that goes from primary school, and actually they just implemented an early childhood education curriculum all the way up to 12th grade to high school. And so we use what's called their lower secondary curriculum, which is for ages 11 and 14, so that middle school age. And we use Cambridge International's curriculum for the majority of our classes at the school, our academic classes. So you'll see Cambridge implemented in math, science, English language arts. You'll see it implemented for technology, global perspectives, our world languages. And am I forgetting one? I think that's it for Cambridge. When it comes to social studies, and when it comes to social studies, health, we and chorus and band, we use Charles County Public Schools curriculum. And then for our drama classes, we and our dance classes, we use a curriculum that we've developed with consultants. And then for our visual arts pathway, they use the Davis Arts Publications curriculum, which is a widely used arts curriculum. And so all of those curricular programs make up our academics and arts programs at the school. Key components that you see on our screen here that you'll see implemented when you walk through a PASOTA class is that it's very much a lot of active collaboration and project-based learning. So because of that arts, a lot of our academic classes will incorporate many of the arts disciplines in the class in the form of a project. So when you come into the school, you'll see artwork all over the walls, you'll see posters, you may see a scholar presenting a presentation through PowerPoint. We have active collaboration built into our classrooms. So our classes are about 75 minutes long. The first 45 minutes is dedicated to direct instruction, where our scholars may be at their desk or in their pods, and then the instructor, our teachers, are providing direct instruction and teaching core concepts. And then the last 30 minutes of the class is built for small group work, and so they are working in their pods in small groups. Their pods are often made up based on their iReady score. So the benchmark testing that we do, and if you are part of Charles County Public Schools, you will be familiar with iReady as it is one that is implemented in the elementary and middle schools throughout the county. And so that at that time, they are working to either extend or get up to speed in that small groups. It's for intervention time. And then you'll also see a focus on our learner attributes or habits of character. So our learner, we adopt the Cambridge learner attributes, and we find ways, our faculty find ways to integrate those learner attributes into their lessons every single day. And so, fortunately, with implementing Cambridge International, we are our model of how we have the 45 minutes of direct instruction with the 30 minutes of intervention. Our faculty, they're able to differentiate to support all learners, meet them where they are. And of course, we prepare our scholars for high school beyond Pasota, even if that means they are going to one of the Charles County Public Schools for high school. Because at this time we don't offer high school grades. And so we have ensured that our Cambridge International curriculum maps to the standards in Charles County Public Schools. So by the time they leave us, they are prepared to integrate into whatever high school your family chooses. As a public school, we are absolutely required to support all learners. So, those are learners that have individual education plans or IEPs, as well as 504 plans. And so, if they are in need of those services, we do have special education teachers, as well as special education instructional assistants, or who we call IAs, that often push into the classroom. So, you'll see in many of our academic classrooms, you'll see a two-teacher model where you have your core teacher and then you have a special education teacher also in that space. Of course, if your scholar's IEP requires them to be pulled out to receive services, then our special education teacher or the IA will have that scholar in a small group setting or in a room where they can provide those services. We work very closely with Charles County Public Schools, and we're so thankful for the special education team at Charles County Public Schools to provide those services, including speech services, which are often done virtually. And all of the special education services, we work with Charles County Public Schools to make sure that we are meeting those needs. So please let us know if that's something that you are concerned about or that will impact your family. You can certainly email us at enrollment@pasota.org, and we'd be happy to share more about what special education looks like at Phoenix International School of the Arts. And here, these are just some photos of, our scholars in real time. You can see the graduation or the moving up. We call it our taking flight ceremony. These were our founding scholars, so they had a very special opportunity to wear a cap and gown. And so these scholars are now are sophomores in high school. You see an image of our dance studio and our dance class happening with Miss Tasha Ford, our dance teacher. Some of our spirit days with our twin days. Our PE, we try to get PE outside as much as possible. So you see them doing some cone exercises there. And then opportunities to perform and engage with teaching artists in our community. We often partner with the Arts for Learning Maryland, which is an organization based out of Baltimore, and they have a score of teaching artists that come out and partner with schools to provide all sorts of classes with working artists. And so Baba Bomani, he is a teaching artist. And I believe he came during Black History Month and he was doing a hip hop and beat making exercise with some of our scholars. And then a bit about the arts. I shared a bit already about the arts at Pasota, but essentially we believe that the arts have the ability to enhance the brain development, the cognitive development, and critical thinking of scholars. The arts oftentimes push scholars to think creatively and to think critically, to problem solve in creative ways, to make sense of things when they may not have all the information that they need. And we know, and research tells us this, that all forms of creative arts can lead to greater abilities to obtain different academic concepts. It leads to them to build their self esteem and their confidence. And so that is where you will see the arts truly take part and transform our young people is in those ways, in their academics, but also in their confidence, in their ability to use their voice to speak up for things that are important to them. And so that's a tool. We use the arts as a tool for that, as well as for expression. Again, our arts pathways here, visual arts, that focuses on drawing, art history, and digital art. Dance, they do all genres in dance with the exception of tap. We do not have space, the type of flooring that's needed for tap, so you won't see that. But you'll see anything from modern to ballet technique to jazz to musical theater. All of those genres are explored in dance. Theater, you'll see acting base. Our intro to theater class is more of a survey of all aspects of theater from stage management to performance to production. And then instrumental music, band and orchestra. We have keyboarding and music theory. So these are the arts that you'll see at the school. And so when your scholar comes to Pasoda, they are part of one arts pathway. However, we always get the question, okay, my scholar is in acting, in theater, but they really love to draw. Can they also take a drawing class? In most cases, because of the requirements that we need to make sure our scholars have academically, that is not possible. They will have their one arts pathway. However, we have after school opportunities where they can engage in the art form, that their secondary art form. So for example, we have an art club that is actually led by our team lead for visual art. And so while they may be in theater during the day for their arts pathway, they may have the opportunity to participate in art club and still be able to draw and be with their peers and socialize in a more unstructured way that's not during the school day, not for a grade. So that is where that opportunity lends itself. If they can't do a secondary arts pathway during the school day, then they can explore it after school as well. And so again, just more pictures so that you can, it feels like you're in the space. You can be in the classroom in our school. Top left, you see our drawing studio. And some of our, it looks like they're doing kind of a still life portrait of this pumpkin in this picture up here. You see one of our scholars with their saxophone. We have one of our vocal music instructors, former vocal music instructors here. And then a classroom setting. This is our science, or excuse me, our technology class here. Okay, I'm going to pause just for a moment. If you're still with me, type in the chat that you're with me, that you're tuned in, you're listening. I'm doing a lot of talking and we will have an opportunity to answer questions, but I just want to make sure, okay, you're tuned in. Thank you. You're here. Awesome. Thank you. I'm glad to see you're still with me. All right. Okay, listening, taking it in. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. It is a lot of information and I'm so glad that you're fully engaged. We still have some time left, so I'm going to keep pushing through, and we're almost to the Q&A portion. But I just wanted to make sure y'all were still here. So I appreciate you, Charles County, for still being with us. And so let's talk about more about the student services, right? I shared that emotional security and safety was very important for families. And so we talk about a secure base of support in the four corners of that support. So, of course, family, our kin, right? Our scholars come with all sorts of family structures and we support them all. And we make sure that we identify opportunities for families to be involved in their child's educational experience, whether it's through the PTSO, which is our parent teacher scholar organization, whether it is through volunteering during the school day, um, volunteering to be a chaperone on a field trip. There are opportunities for families to support the school and their scholar, and for our school to support families, loved ones beyond family. We want to make they are part of your scholar's secure base of support. Mentors are extremely important, and oftentimes teachers tend to be more than just a teacher, right? If you can remember your favorite teacher or that person in your life that showed you you can be anything that you want to be, mentors are extremely important to us. And then we have a crew class, and the crew is where it's dedicated to social and emotional learning. And so while that may look different in the future, right now in the past 2 years of our school's operation, Crew has been sort of a second family unit for our scholars, for them to have those courageous conversations, to talk about healthy relationships and all of those things in the social emotional realm. And then I also want to share, you see the graphic here where we talk about academic support, mental health support, community support, and creative development. In the academic support, we do again have we have a multi-tiered system of support. And so in addition to our special education team, we have a school counselor, our school leadership, our principal and assistant principal. They are excellent instructional leaders, and they fall under that academic support as well. Of course, our teachers and instructors. And then as we shift over to our mental health support, again, that school counselor comes up. We do have a school counselor. We actually partner with Hazel Health, as with all of most of Charles County Public Schools. Hazel Health provides therapeutic services for our scholars, and they can access those services virtually during the school day. So you're not having to drive your scholar or take your scholar to their therapy session after school. We know, as a parent myself, I know we have so many different priorities that are happening after that school day or after the work day or whatever it may be. And so, fortunately, Hazel Health offers the opportunity for families to be able to get their children the therapeutic services they need during the school day. We do have 2 school psychologists at the school, and then we have access to our pupil personnel worker when needed. And all of those support services, those adults in the building that we like to say are part of our care team, are available for our scholars. Of course, community support, our PTSO. I just want to shout out our Parent Teacher Scholar Organization and our PTSO Executive Board. They are amazing. They provide support to our teachers and instructors and our overall school staff to ensure that they stay motivated and excited every day to come serve our community by educating our children. And they also make sure that our scholars have a good time at school. A lot of times, our PTSO sponsors dances and things like that. And so, we're going to have a special guest later, so I don't want to steal the thunder of our PTSO, but love them. Community partners, again, mentoring programs we do implement as part of our after school programs. Just an example of one is called Stella's Girls, and that is a girls leadership and mentorship program that we implement at the school, in partnership with the local Stella's Girls organization, and cultural organizations that support our school as well. And then, of course, creative development. Right, we are an art school, and we believe that the arts can provide and contribute to a secure base of support. And so that's our arts instructor. So our dance teacher, our art teacher, our music teachers, all of those folks are part of this base of support. They are ensuring that your scholars show up as their best when they are performing. They are sourcing performance opportunities through the school year and throughout the summer. And we're also bringing in, like I shared about Baba Bomani through Arts for Learning, we're bringing in arts experts, those working in the field as artists now and in multiple disciplines, to share what it means to make a living in that arts career field. And so we are all here to ensure that we are supporting your scholars. And so I want to share this video, sort of in that vein of being a secure base of support from our families. Last year, we did an after-school program where we engaged in multiple different arts mediums. And for this particular Q&A panel that was held in partnership with one of the local community organizations called Center Stage Arts Academy, we held a monologue showcase at the College of Southern Maryland, and then we ended it with this Q&A panel. And Sean Cosby, who is the founder of Center Stage Arts Academy, had a wonderful charge to parents who are parenting creative youth. And so I'm going to play a little bit of it. Hopefully you can hear it. Just let me know if you can't. And I want you to take this with heart and understand that this charge is coming from the heart to our families out there who are truly wanting to support their creative youth.
Great. Okay, so I'm gonna make two charges. One is to my parents. Please hear my heart. if this is something that they want to do, you need to first understand it's an investment.
Yeah.
And you need to be as invested as that child is.
Mhm.
It is not a babysitting service.
Yep.
It's not some little thing they decide to do on the weekends. You drop off and you're not invested. You go pick it up and maybe you come to the show and maybe you don't. That is not what they need from you. It does not help them. It harms them.
Yep.
When you send them and they're not prepared, it harms them.
Yep.
When you don't help them go over their lines at home or rehearse their vocals, it harms them. It does not help them. It is an investment. And you, because they are minors, have to be just as invested. That means that you got to get auntie, godmama, grandmother on this side, grandmother on the paternal side, drop off, pick up, get to the show, do whatever, drop off some water, figure it out. They need that.
So again, like my dear friend Sean Cosby said, they need that. They need your support. They need the family support. It's so critical to their development, of course, academically and especially creatively. As they are figuring themselves out in this creative space, they need that support. And the Pasoda team is dedicated to you all, dedicated to our scholars, and we certainly lean on you all as well as their family, as their secure base of support to provide that type of dedication to them. Okay, I'm gonna keep us moving here. Family engagement. So these are just a few opportunities for family engagement, and I wonder if our PTSO vice president is on. If she is, please
I'm
put in
here.
chat. Oh, you're here. Yay. Okay. So before our special guest joins us on stage, our family engagement, of course, we have our PTSO. We do have a board of trustees. So I mentioned we have a nonprofit that operates with the school district to manage the school. And so that nonprofit has a board of trustees that governs the strategic growth of the school. And we actually have several parents and guardians, current parents and guardians on that board of trustees. So if you are interested in that type of leadership, then that opportunity is available to you as well. We have an advisory board. We have art specific family events. Like for instance, we deem them our dance moms, but if you want to support your scholars specific arts pathway, those opportunities are available. So we have many opportunities to get involved in your scholar's academic journey at Phoenix International School of the Arts. And to speak more on that, I have a lovely guest speaker, special guest coming to the stage, and that is Miss Marie Long. She is one of our founding families, one of our founding parents and guardians. And her scholar is now in 8th grade, which makes me kind of sad. I'm happy, but sad to see my babies go. And so I invite you to share about your experience with engaging with Phoenix International School of the Arts. Ms. Long?
Thanks, Angelica. Hi, everybody. Yes, it's really exciting to sit and listen and watch and think about all of the prospective families that are watching. We are a founding family. My daughter has been at Pasoda since 6th grade, and then my son, who's now in 10th grade, was also at Pasoda. And it's an incredible opportunity for a very unique experience. And I'm very excited to see it evolve from the very beginning to now. I've been a part of the PTSO from the beginning. It's been very exciting to see all of the new families come in and the new students and the incredible opportunities to be involved in creative activities. I have this excitement tonight, especially seeing the presentation going out to the new families about the vision and what it's going to look like in 5 years and then in 10 years. And it's gonna blow all of the schools out of the water in Charles County. I'm confident in that because you can just see each year how everything is built upon. And we've experienced that with the PTSO. We, as Ms. Jackson mentioned, we sponsor some of the dances. We make a lot of effort to connect families and scholars with the school. We want a very strong presence with community and in the school and then in the community outside of the school as well. So we work really hard to put together events that are going to benefit making that connection. We put on some fundraisers that support activities for students, as well as support our Teacher Appreciation Week and the types of things that we put forward to support the staff. So we try to keep everything moving as far as those activities go to make connections. I think that, like I said, each year it's gotten stronger, and I'm very excited about where Pasoda is going. My children both had very unique experiences. They had exposure and opportunities that I know they would not have had with creative environments elsewhere. So
Thank you so much, Miss Long.
you're welcome.
So, are you able to stick around if families have questions in the chat
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
PTSO?
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much. So, first of all, let's give Miss Long a round of applause. Thank
Thank you.
you for being a special guest tonight. If you have questions about the PTSO, Ms. Long is able to stick around for a little bit and maybe able to
Yep.
answer those questions. And I just want to lift again, the PTSO works extremely hard to ensure that our scholars and our families are connected even beyond the school day. And we are just so grateful for their support. We would not be able to run the way that we do without the PTSO. So thank you for sharing some of your time. Go ahead. Yep.
Oh, I just thought of something. So we are having a restaurant evening on November 18th. So I would like to open that up to anybody. It's a fundraiser technically, but it's also an opportunity to come out and meet other families. We'll be there, the PTSO. A lot of the scholars will be there. It's a really good time. So I encourage anyone to come to Texas Roadhouse on November 18th. If you're interested, we'll be there. You can just stop by to say hi, meet us. You don't even have to stay for a meal.
Thank you. That was a great plug and a wonderful opportunity to meet families and scholars and talk to us. Thank you so much, Ms. Long.
You're welcome.
All righty. We are going to keep us moving. So these are some of our after school activities. And I opened the chat really quickly and I saw a family say their scholar is extremely shy. And this is where they can thrive and start to meet like-minded folks and peers in a smaller group setting. So our extracurricular activities are often based on our student interest or scholar interest. We do participate in the middle school basketball tournament. We have a student government, our Phoenix Elite Drill Team, which is like our majorette and step team. All 3 years, we've had MESA, which is that mathematical, engineering, and science academics. And last year, we actually placed for MESA, which was exciting. Across the state, we placed. Chess Club. This year, we are a National Junior Honor Society chapter, which is really exciting. And so we've kicked that off. We have a yearbook club. We have many identity-based affinity groups, and this is not all. So again, like I said, we have that girls leadership group, we have art club, we have after school performing arts ensemble. So we have a dance ensemble that's available to anyone who auditions for it. We have an after school audition-based instrumental music ensemble. So these are opportunities for your children to engage again in that secondary arts interest, as well as in a space where if they are perhaps having a hard time in the classroom setting or at lunch, connecting with their peers, joining one of these small interest groups, these after school activities, is a prime opportunity for them to meet someone who is also interested in anime or also interested in being a YouTube influencer or whatever the trend may be at the time, in a small group setting. And so we certainly encourage participation. Majority of our scholars do participate in after school programs, and we'll often have opportunities, not just after school, but we'll sometimes have opportunities for after school, but extracurricular programming that happens at the beginning of the day as well. So that 6:30 to 7:30 time. But majority of these do happen after school. Oh, and I forgot to mention all county. So we do participate in all county, all state performance ensembles for both band, orchestra, and chorus. And actually, this year we had 7 scholars audition for All County Chorus, and all 7 scholars made it to All County Chorus. So if you went to that middle school All County performance, you would have seen some of our Pasoda scholars there. And we also had scholars participate in All County Orchestra. So those opportunities are also available to Pasoda scholars. These are just a visual of some of our performing arts and community partners that I shared about earlier in the presentation. So the Pasoda difference, again, we have that focus on multilingual proficiency and a global mindset. Not only thinking about what my actions will make at home or personally, but what's the impact of my actions beyond my small community? What's the impact locally and globally? That intentional focus on social emotional learning. We are a smaller school by design, and we are very relationship based. So we know the adults know all of the scholars in the building by name. We know when they're coming in, having a bad day. We know when they're super excited about something. That certainly contributes to the development and the success of our scholars at the school. Close-knit community. The Globe is the classroom with implementing Cambridge International. We are connected to schools, peer schools all over the world through our implementation of Cambridge International. And of course, arts education every day. So I will say, if your scholar is not really keen in the arts, Pasoda may not be the school for them, because they will engage creatively every single day. And so sometimes we'll have scholars who, just want sports. And so if they want sports only and they don't really want to do chorus or they don't want to draw, Pasoda may not be the school for them. And so I always want to urge parents to set their scholars, their children up for success, and have a conversation with them to see if this is an environment where they see themselves thriving. Even if they don't have a full appreciation for the arts, but they may have that potential, Pasoda could be the right place. But if they are very much adamant about, no, I don't want to do the arts, then Pasoda may not be the school for that scholar. And more visuals. Again, we are not at the school for this virtual information session, but I wanted to make it feel like you're there. And so you'll see that our school is very colorful, it's very inviting, very warm. Scholars do have access to lockers. You'll see that there's always artwork on the walls and displays of our scholars' classwork. So this is just an example of our school. Speaking to some of the operational pieces, at this time, transportation is offered through Charles County Public Schools. This could be subject to change from year to year, but for the past 2 years and this current year, transportation is offered through the Charles County Public School bus system. And so some of our scholars, particularly those scholars who are coming to us from Waldorf, will have direct service with their bus. That means that their bus picks them up in their neighborhood bus stop and brings them to the school in the morning, and then vice versa in the afternoon, while others have a bus, a travel system that's similar to North Point High School CTE program or McDonough CTE program, where it's a shuttle base. And so it could be possible that your scholar is taking 2 to 3 buses to get to to get home in the afternoon, and perhaps 2 buses in the morning to get to the school. So that all depends on your residence, and Charles County Public Schools will determine what your scholar's bus route will be. And so as we get to the enrollment and your scholar is accepted into the school through the lottery process, we will share more about what transportation looks like for your scholar. And of course, there are options for car ride as well. On this slide, I also want to share that we also use Charles County's food service program. So the My School Bucks app will still be relevant at Phoenix International School of the Arts. That account will carry over if they are currently in a public school with Charles County. Their My School Bucks account will transfer over with them to the school, and they'll be able to still maintain that account. They'll have the same lunch number. And so our food service is the same. What's offered at some of the other middle schools will also be offered for breakfast and lunch at Pasoda. And on that, with breakfast, we do offer breakfast. Unfortunately, our school leader, our principal, was able to apply for a grant so that we can offer free breakfast. So this year, our scholars receive free breakfast. and we'll also have that in place for next year as well. Lunch and the lunch cost is the same as all middle schools in Charles County. All right, enrollment information. I know this is what many of you are here to learn more about. What is the enrollment process like at Pasoda? And so, what is that process like? Let's get to it. So enrollment at Phoenix International School of the Arts is based on a lottery process, so a fair and equitable time period for open enrollment, which we are in currently. Open enrollment opened on October 21st, and it will go until open at noon on October 21st, and it will close at noon on November 24th. That open enrollment period is an opportunity for any and everyone to submit their application through that digital application portal on Avella, which is our enrollment system. Everyone who submits an application during that open enrollment period, so up until noon on November 24th, they get to be part of a lottery. And a lottery is necessary when we receive more applications than we have space available at each grade level. So if we get 1,000 applications and we only have 85 spots for sixth grade, then we would need to do a lottery. And so, again, everyone who applies during that open enrollment period is eligible for that lottery. If someone applies, submits their application after the open enrollment period, they are then automatically added to our waiting list. So they are not part of that lottery. So the application will remain open after November 24th, but those that submit that application after November 24th will not be part of the lottery. They will be added to the waiting list. So again, this is our open enrollment period. This is the opportunity for you to have a greater chance at getting into the school through the lottery process. And I'll add the lottery process. This is common among public charter schools across the country, but especially in Maryland. Lottery process, it used to be where they did do like a physical lottery. They would pull names out of a bucket or a hat, if you will. We've upgraded the past decade, and so now there's so many different digital software that facilitate the lottery. It is a third-party software, so they have no affiliation with Pasoda. They have no family members that are applying to the school. This is a third-party software that services many public charter schools across the country for their lottery and waiting list and application process. And so this is actually by law, we have to implement a lottery system like this. So the public charter school law in Maryland requires this type of process where you have an open enrollment period, you have a lottery, and you have a waiting list. So that waiting list, again, will open at 12:01 p.m. on November 24th. So again, if someone submits that application after noon on November 24th, they will not be eligible to be part of that lottery. They will automatically submit their application and be added to that waiting list. And our anticipated date for our lottery, it will be virtual. So it will be another Zoom format where we will actually run the lottery and release the ID numbers of those applicants who will receive that initial offer. And that will be on December 11th. And so for those who submit an application, we'll follow up an email directly with you, all of our applicants, with this information. So you'll get that Zoom link, you'll get all of the lottery information. In the spirit of transparency, we have for the past 3 years now, have implemented a public lottery and have done so virtually. So we want to make sure that you all know that we are being very honest and equitable and fair with that lottery process. So we do hold it virtually. Once the lottery produces the selections for that initial wave of offers, those offers will be sent out and families will be notified via Avella. So that enrollment application, that same platform that you use to submit your application, or you will submit your application, you will receive an offer through that portal. So you'll get an email that says that you've been offered a spot at Phoenix International School of the Arts. Go into your family portal on Avella and accept or decline your offer. So again, submitting an application does not guarantee that you'll receive an offer, but if you do, you still have the choice to say, yes, I am going to accept, or to say, no, my circumstances have changed. We don't want to accept this offer, and you can decline. And you'll do that in Avella. And doing so, if you decline early enough, you will then open up an opportunity for someone on the waiting list to be able to accept that spot. And so that is why you'll see December 29th, you will need to make your decision on if you are going to accept or decline your offer. December 29th. After that date, it is not guaranteed that you will be able to maintain that offer, because again, we want to make sure that those on the waiting list have an opportunity if a space becomes available. Okay, and the small print is exactly what I just shared with you all. So again, I'm leaving this here for you to scan. You want to scan this with your phone if you're on a computer. If you're on the phone, I will pop in apply.avella.org, the website to get to the application. So you can click on that, and you will be able to submit your application. I see a quick question here. Is the lottery for every single applicant? Yes, every single applicant that applies during that open enrollment period will be part of the lottery. So if they apply by noon on November 24th, they will be part of the lottery, which is held within that Avella platform. And I also see that our principal is on. So Dr. Bateman, if you are available to share some welcoming remarks, I welcome you to the stage to share. Thank you so much for answering questions in the chat. Christina Miller, Ms. Miller, thank you so much for answering questions in the chat. I certainly appreciate that, because I have not been able to keep up with the chat box while I'm presenting. But if Dr. Bateman is available, we certainly welcome you to the stage.
Hi,
And here,
everybody. Yes, I can hear you. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say hello. I just wanted to make sure I kept seeing it come up. If there's a focus, we talked a lot about the arts, but if there's a focus on instructional curriculum around English, math, social studies, and science, and yes, there's a major focus on our core subjects. We are an art school, and we integrate the arts by doing inquiry-based learning and project-based learning in our ELA, science, math, and social studies classrooms. But please understand that we are a strong focus on instructional excellence in our core subjects. And art is going to be the kind of the bread and butter of what we do at Basoda. I'm super excited to see that we had so many great families joining the call. I mean, the questions that you guys are asking in the chat are great questions. Instead of, going away from this chat and kind of asking someone who may not have been on the call, or trying to dig and find information on your own. Sometimes we don't get the best information. So I'm just so happy to see so many questions coming in, where instead of, asking someone else, you're asking us for that information. So we're really excited, and I hope now it is open. Please go ahead and register. You want to be a part of this school. We're making great strides. Year 3, I'm really excited about where we're getting ready to go, where we currently are, but it's more excited about where we're getting ready to go. I posted some of the trips that we're doing currently, and we do have that international part, and it's not just going to be focused around that Cambridge curriculum, but we do want to do a little bit of traveling and some other things like that. If we are an international school, we need to highlight why we're different and why you should choose us amongst the other middle schools across Charles County, right? So I'm excited about getting to know some of you. If you want to reach out to the school, you can always call. We do not do enrollment at the school level, but if you have any questions, always want to take a tour, that type of thing, don't hesitate to reach out to the school, and we'll be glad to help you. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Turn it back over to you.
okay, I'm off mute. Sorry about that. Thank you, Dr. Bateman. Thank you for being our special guest this evening. We are at 7. Okay, we're at time. I'm just now seeing that. So if it is okay with our CCPS partners, do you mind if we stay on for another about 5 minutes or so to answer some questions? Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Jackson, can I answer this one question in the chat about diversity? What does diversity look like?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so over the last course of 2 years, we had a predominantly African American school. Right now, I'm happy to say we have Asian Americans, we have Hispanic students. So we have a variety and a diverse variety of students in our school. I'm sorry if you hear my baby in the background. But we have a beautiful, diverse, culture-driven school. We just celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month, so I'm really, really excited about that. So we are diversifying our school, and that's what we look like. Sorry.
Our staff as well. You're okay. Please don't apologize. Again, many of us are parents as well. So I do appreciate you joining this evening. I saw a question about siblings. Oh, okay. And I see that Ms. Miller answered. Thank you. So we do have a few priorities in our lottery that give preference to certain family structures. And so one is the sibling priority. And so this is because we want to make sure that if a family has children that are around the same age and will both be in middle school at the time of their application, for convenience for that family, we do place a priority on those families that are applying with siblings. So you'll see in the application, there's a question that says, do you have a sibling apply? Does this applicant have a sibling applying, or does this applicant have a sibling that attends the school? And so we ask you to be honest in answering those questions because we do verify. And there is an opportunity, a preference or priority opportunity in the lottery for those families who are applying with siblings. So I did see that question. Let me see if I can get to another. Soccer team. We do not have a soccer team. So in terms of sports, in the past years and this year, we've had a basketball team, boys basketball team. This year we'll have a boys and girls basketball team. And again, these scholars this team does participate in the middle school tournament. Last year, I'm proud to say that we finished 3rd out of 9 middle schools in the county. So that was really exciting. Not too shabby for the art school. And we also have a track and field after school or middle school tournament based team. And last year we had an after school club football team. We do not have volleyball because I see that one in there as well. So those were the sports that we offer and that we continue to offer. Thank you, Dr. Bateman, for answering the question about field trips. We do go on several field trips. Yes. Okay, I see. Are there questions? Let's see. Field trips, that one was answered. Arts club. I think we've answered many of the questions. What are the school hours? So our school hours are from 7:50 is the first bell, 7:50 a.m. We open our doors at 7:35 so scholars can come in, grab breakfast, get settled, and then the last class ends at 2:20. So we start our dismissal routine at 2:20. There is no cost. So I see a question, is there a cost for the academic year? There is no cost. Again, we are a tuition-free public charter school. So we are a public school. We follow the Charles County Public Schools Code of Conduct. We are part of Charles County Public Schools. So we are tuition free. There's no cost. There is no entrance exam to get into Pasota. Your scholar does not need to have a certain grade point average or GPA. We are a public school, and the selection process is solely due through this lottery process. Dr. Bateman, feel free to turn your mic on if you see a question that is popping up that I may have missed.
Yes, I think someone just asked, classes are 75 minutes. They said, what is the weekly schedule like to ensure all core subjects are covered in a week? So we do run just like your traditional middle schools, we do run an A-day, B-day schedule. There's 75-minute courses. Each class right now, currently they have math twice a week if you look at it from the A-day, B-day schedule. Same thing with reading, science, social studies. There also, we offer gifted and talented service. We do offer IEP services, 504 accommodations. So that's currently right now how they're included in the week. So hopefully that answers your questions. And right now we do run a schedule where the first 45 minutes is whole class instruction with the I do, you do, we do. And then the last 30 minutes is an intervention period where there may be pull out, small group instruction, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So again, it is that A-day, B-day, A-day schedule. and that alternates from week to week.
Someone asked about the safety and control measures to ensure campus and student safety. We are the student safety. We do have an SRO that's assigned to us through the district, but they just popped through. We do not have an SRO that stays on campus. Pretty much what happens is we haven't had any major security issues since I've been there. I'm not sure about the years prior, but we do have Officer Cook that does come over periodically to check in. And if we need her, we can call her. And she's not too far from our school. So we do have an SRO, just like a traditional Charles County public school. So we do have that. Ms. Johnson, I did see your questions and I answered them. It's just people just keep chiming in. So it's kind of thrown off a little bit.
Yes,
Um,
and I can add to the safety and security question, Dr. Bateman. So we also have security cameras in the school and on the perimeter exterior of the school, and we have many safety features that you would not see on the school. And so I'm not going to share them widely here because they are meant to be subliminal. But so we do have many of the safety features that you would see at all of the other Charles County middle schools. You'll see at Phoenix International School of the Arts. We are required to do monthly drills. So whether it is the lockdown drills, fire drill, all of those types of drills, we have to implement as well. So as a public school, we are held to that same type of safety and security accountability that you'll see at any public school in Charles County.
the question talks about what about fifth graders that are taking 6A accelerated math? So currently, right now, because the district uses a different type of math than we use, if you have a fifth grader, say your fifth grader is considered gifted, when they get to Pasoda, instead of them taking sixth grade math, they will be enrolled in seventh grade math. So that's how we do our accelerated math program at Pasoda. I think the next question is more for Ms. Jackson because I'm kind of new to the school. So they just want to know, have you followed with the students that went there all 3 years? How was their transition back to a public school from being at Pasoda?
Yes. So, like I shared earlier, we have had, and this will probably be our last question, unfortunately, because again, we have our CCPS partners here, and I don't want to keep them on all night. But you can always email. Let me put this in here: enrollment@pasoda.org. So if you have questions that were not answered this evening, you can send them to that email, and our enrollment team will get to those questions. Oh yes. So we have scholars that have matriculated into Charles County Public Schools, into private schools in the area, and also in surrounding areas. And in my communication with them, they have successfully been able to transition academically and creatively. They feel like they are above and beyond their peers, especially creatively. Fortunately, the Cambridge International curriculum it's challenging, and so it truly prepares them for their next step beyond Pasoda. And so we do have a page on our website. If you go to our pasoda.org and go to our impact page, there's a web page for our alumni. So you'll see some of our alumni there in the high schools that they are matriculating to. So I am going to pause us there. I know you all have so many more questions. I encourage you to email the enrollments at pasoda.org with those questions. And then we'll have other virtual information sessions and opportunities for you to get to know us. So I invite you to join those ones as well, so that if you are still wondering about something, you have an opportunity to ask at that point. I want to thank you all so much for joining this evening. And for sticking with us throughout the entire presentation. Charles County team, thank you so much for hosting this with us. And Dr. Bateman and our Miss Long, thank you so much for being our special guest tonight. Thank you all and have a good evening.